We're going to destroy Queen Elizabeth II ocean liner because we fucking hate ships. And we're all crazy. The bomb has been planted.
The explosion will be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
Finally, we destroyed the shitty Queen Elizabeth II ocean liner.
Now let's go back to Manhattan and go home.
We made it. Now we're going home.
Evil Z. Evil Arthur. Evil Joe. Evil Steve. Evil Barney. Evil Murray. Evil Greg. Evil Jeff. Evil Anthony. Evil Diesel 10. Evil Devious Diesel. Evil Sir Topham Hat. Evil Thomas the Tank Engine. Evil Luigi. Evil Mara. Evil Cookie Monster. Evil Ernie. Evil Bird. Evil Big Bird. Evil Zoe. Evil Elm. Evil Daisy Bun. Evil Donald Duck. Evil Goofy. Evil Minnie Mouse. Evil Mickey Mouse. Evil Tiger. Evil Winnie the Pooh. Evil Barack Obama. Evil George W. Bush. Evil Donald Trump. Evil Blues. Evil LO. Evil FRRED. Evil Toad. Evil Bread. Evil Plex. Evil FIFA. Evil Muyo. Evil DJ Lance. Evil David. Evil Shen. Evil Handy Manny. Evil Walden. Evil Widget. Evil Lenny Gearson. Evil Chip Hicks. Evil Lightning Queen. Evil Diego. Evil Sweet Johnson. Evil Ryder. Evil Big Smoke. Evil Carl Johnson. Evil Oswald. Evil Swiper. Evil Bill Cosby. Evil Squidward. Evil Patrick. Evil SpongeBob. Evil Bob the Builder. Evil Doris. Evil Orange Horse. Evil Red Horse. Evil Grey Animations. Evil Gundasis. Evil Junk Hammer Powder Recto Guy 2003. Evil Rainbow Turtle 518. Evil NRFANTA and IC 2003. Evil Vince Sesame Street Fan Estate 2000. Evil Draco the Capricorn User 2005 Animations. Evil Diamond Quartz. Evil Classic Emmanuel Thomas. Evil Emmanuel Thomas. Evil Robotron. Evil Nick Network. Evil New Fire Buffer 775. Evil Wayne Cramp. Evil Lennox Camera. Evil Tony Animate. Evil Brandon. Evil Zachary. Evil Tan. Evil Trevor. Evil Brian Robinson. Evil Rihan Robinson. Evil Jill. Evil Molly. Evil Twist. Evil Marina. Evil Shout. Evil Kiki. Evil Black Horse. Evil Dark Pink Horse. Evil Dark Purple Horse. Evil Dark Blue Horse. Evil Dark Green Horse. Evil Dark Yellow Horse. Evil Dark Orange Horse. Evil Dark Red Horse. Evil Pink Rabbit. Evil Purple Rabbit. Evil Blue Rabbit. Evil Light Blue Rabbit. Evil Green Rabbit. Evil Yellow Rabbit. Evil Orange Rabbit. Evil Red Rabbit. Evil Pink Bear. Evil Purple Bear. Evil Blue Bear. Evil Light Blue Bear. Evil Green Bear. Evil Yellow Bear. Evil Orange Bear. Evil Red Bear. Evil Pink Horse. Evil Purple Horse. Evil Blue Horse. Evil Light Blue Horse. Evil Green Horse. Evil Yellow Horse. Evil Karis. Evil Boris. Evil Rainbow Rabbit. Evil Rainbow Bear. Evil Rainbow Horse. Evil Brown Rabbit. Evil White Rabbit. Evil Grey Rabbit. Evil Black Rabbit. Evil Dark Pink Rabbit. Evil Dark Purple Rabbit. Evil Dark Blue Rabbit. Evil Dark Green Rabbit. Evil Dark Yellow Rabbit. Evil Dark Orange Rabbit. Evil Dark Red Rabbit. Evil Brown Bear. Evil White Bear. Evil Grey Bear. Evil Black Bear. Evil Dark Pink Bear. Evil Dark Purple Bear. Evil Dark Blue Bear. Evil Dark Green Bear. Evil Dark Yellow Bear. Evil Dark Orange Bear. Evil Dark Red Bear. Evil Brown Horse. Evil White Horse. Evil Grey Horse. Evil Male. Evil Angelo. Evil Zoe. Evil Hannah. Evil Austin. Evil Edwin. Evil Brian. Evil Katie. Evil Matt. Evil Jack. Evil Cooper. Evil Miss Martin. Evil Allen Officer. Evil Principal. Evil Russell. Evil Business Friendly Guy. Evil David. Evil Terrace. Evil Resh. Evil Jarris. Evil Garage. Evil Little Bill. Evil Daisy. Evil Rosie. Evil Classic Kalu. Evil Curlew. Evil Blue. Evil Day. Evil Zoe. Evil Pocoyo. Evil Hosting. Evil Tasha. Evil Uniqua. Evil Timon. Evil Pablo. Evil Loose. Evil Boots. And Evil Dora. Your 189 are under arrest from destroying Queen Elizabeth II ocean liner. Your 189 are in so much trouble. Now getting in the police car this instant. Your 189 are going back to prison until 2957.
Utat do out in will donet. No parked tester. To be continue donwa.